Hey there everyone, my name's Jenna. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be taking a little break from our kitchen renovations and we're going to go head to the thrift store because I've been having a lot of luck there lately finding some really expensive designer looking pieces for those amazing thrift store prices. So you guys know the drill. I like to take you through the store with me and point out some of those pieces that will give your space a more high-end looking feel. And I also give styling tips and decorating ideas with the items that are in the store. And then we'll come back home and I'll show you everything that I found for my own space and how I'm planning to style it. So hopefully you can get some fun decorating ideas for your own space. And we also have some fun thrifted fashion in this video as well. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And without further ado, let's go thrifting. Okay, so here we are at the thrift store and I always like to scan the artwork section, usually for vintage frames or vintage inspired art pieces, maybe to pop on a shelf or to use in a gallery wall. And I spotted this gorgeous rustic landscape image for only $5.50 and it looks super similar to the ones that they sell on designer sites for hundreds of dollars. I really liked the rustic wooden frame on this one and this image reminded me a lot of the hillside piece on McGee & Co. I also really liked this wooden disc art piece. This was only $19.99 and it had a really high-end look to it. I loved the mixture of materials with the warm wood tone against the light linen backing, and I just thought this was a really natural and timeless looking piece. Another thing that I was loving were these scalloped checkered plates. Each plate was priced at $3.50, and then they also had a set of 4 appetizer plates for $8.50 for all 4, which is a great deal considering that these have a very similar look to the Mackenzie Childs plates, which are $75 each. I just thought these were so cute for like the springtime or maybe like a garden party, something like that. Now, an actual designer find that I was really excited to see was this driftwood hurricane candle holder. And this guy was only $5.50 and it's the same exact one that they sell on Pottery Barn for $78. I love the natural look of this and the pretty texture that the driftwood has for a more casual rustic feel. And speaking of rustic, I loved this little worn vintage ladder for only $3.50. My mind immediately went to the garden when I saw this. It would be so cute to pop this in maybe a planter bed or on a patio and then layer some potted plants like herbs or flowers on it, just for a rustic plant stand to help add some height and that layered effect to a garden. And a way to get that rustic layered feel in a kitchen is to add some vintage rolling pins or utensils into your utensil crock. And I just mix my wooden utensils that I use regularly with some vintage ones just to give it a more rustic feel. And I loved this one rolling pin in particular because I really liked the vintage looking handles with that turned detail. It's little things like this that just help to add that lived in charm to a space. Another thing that I always keep an eye out for is handmade pottery. And this would be so cute styled on an open shelf, or you could use it to store cooking items on a countertop. I loved the neutral rustic glaze on this one with the little handle detail. And I also spotted this larger handmade bowl for only $3.50 with the pretty chocolate brown dipped rim. You could use this in the kitchen or it would even make for a pretty rustic planter. And I also liked this little handmade black vase as well. This is a great size for a bud vase, just something small and pretty to style on somewhere like a nightstand or a bathroom countertop. I always like having smaller vases around the house for cut flowers from the garden. I also spotted this brand new super cute cork ball storage container for only $2.50, and I've seen these sold at designer stores, and a set of 3 on Wayfair is over $100, and these would be really cute for aesthetic storage, maybe things like rice or oats in a kitchen or Q-tips and cotton balls in a bathroom. Another cute countertop storage idea is this little bread box. How sweet and rustic is this? This could be really cute if you're into making sourdough, and I couldn't believe that it was only $6.50. I really loved the old world feel of it and the gorgeous distressing on the wood. Another thing I always keep an eye out for are pictures, and I liked this blue striped one that was only $5.50, and I liked how it had that vintagey look to it, very similar to the ones they sell on designer sites for close to $50. And these are great for serving drinks sinks, using as utensil crocks, or even as a vase. Now, something that I've been seeing pop up a lot lately is silver, and Pottery Barn sells these silver candle holders for $50 each, but here I found these silver candlestick holders for only $2.50. And I love having different candle holders on hand for styling my tablescapes, and what I think is super charming is when you have a mismatched collection of a certain color. So the different candle holders can give your space a more casual, collected feel. So all of these are mismatched, but they would look so cute grouped together like this on a tablescape for some variation. I also thought that you could pair these really pretty napkin rings with the candle holders, and they could kind of be a set if you were working with the silver theme, especially because $2.50 for 8 of these napkin holders is such a steal. And I love the timeless look of silver and how that would look together. But for me personally, I am more of a gold girly, so I loved this gold vase. I thought this would be really pretty for like a lower arrangement to put some flowers in on a table so you could still see each other over the table. And something else that I spotted was this flat woven tray, and I've seen designers add these into gallery walls just to help add some variation and a punch of warmth and texture. So I loved this one for that because it was flat and it had this beautiful vintagey distressed look to it that would add so much depth and character contrasted against a white wall. Decorating with woven materials really does help to add this beautiful natural warmth to a space, and I loved this little woven shelf with the arched details on the sides. It reminded me of something that you'd find at Anthropologie, and it would be really cute just to dress up an empty small wall or to use somewhere like in a water closet or a nursery. And another kind of woven piece that I keep an eye out for are harvest baskets. These are great to pop on top of something like an armoire just to use to collect stems or veggies from the garden. This guy was only $3.50, and McGee & Co sells a harvest basket for over $80, and I have one that I like to pop on a bench and just style my seasonal stems in it. Also, you can't skip over the bag section. I thought this little set of 3 frames was so sweet and had that summery, florally feel to it, and I loved how again these were grouped together and they're clearly mismatched, but they would look so intentionally curated and collected if they were used together on a gallery wall. And I thought it'd be fun to show you some of the fashion thrift finds that I search for also. I really love to find those neutral capsule wardrobe pieces here. This Abercrombie & Fitch button down is really versatile and can be worn year round, which I like. And I also like to look for things that have a lace detail because to me that looks really delicate and expensive. However, I'm not super into yellow and I think the bow in the back would get annoying, but this could be a cute summer top with some jeans. And I also like this industry top for fall. It'd be really simple and chic, just tucked into some jeans, and I love the ruffle sleeve detail on this one. And I also spotted this Free People shirt with the tags still on it, which was such a find. This guy was only $5, and it would be perfect for like a casual beach cover up with some shorts, or maybe just like a lightweight summer top with some leggings. And then I also loved this tie sleeve shirt. This was from Anthropologie, and it was only $3.50. And I do think it would have been a little bit too low cut for me personally, but it was still a cute top for the fall and a good brand for a great price. Okay, so now we're back home and it's time to style all of our finds. And the first thing that I found was so gorgeous. This is actually a designer dupe. It is this beautiful woven hurricane candle holder, and they actually sell a very similar one to this on McGee & Co. I believe it's in like the $30 price range. I got this for like $1.50 because I got it on the 50% off day. I gave it a little wash and I took the tag off, so I forgot how much it was originally, but I got it for 50% off. I think it was like $3. So I got this for under $2, which is crazy. And I actually got this because I thought it would be really beautiful eventually to put out on our patio with some candles inside, just to kind of create a really nice summery ambiance. I love the warmth of this woven material and how summery that feels. But actually what I was really drawn to it for was honestly just using it as a vase. I love this woven material and all of the beautiful warmth and texture that adds. So this is going to be perfect for popping on somewhere like our kitchen island and just gathering some branches from outside outside for free and popping them in here, and that's just gonna make our space look so professionally styled when all I did was spend less than $2 on the vase itself, and then the branches were free because I just gathered them from our yard. But it gives my space this beautiful professionally styled quality because the branches are really sculptural and you have a beautiful mix of materials with the beautiful glass vase and then contrasted with that pretty natural woven detail. It just looks really earthy because you've mixed these simple materials together, but it's really visually pleasing to the eye, especially when that contrasts with the greenery. So I'm really excited to use this as a vase when we get flowers or when I just want to cut things from the yard and when we're having people over or guests. This is going to be a really great one to have on hand that just has a very expensive high-end look to it, but I got it for such a steal. Okay, so this next find is probably one of my absolute favorites of all time, and it is this really beautiful brown glazed terracotta bowl. Now this has a very similar look to the French dairy bowls. Those can go for anywhere from like $200 to like $400 online, but this has a very similar look to it. You can see here that this is a terracotta bowl, so it does appear to be old and distressed as the glaze around the rim is kind of chipping off. So because of that, I do believe this is a more authentic antique piece. I don't know if it's like a French dairy bowl, but it does have a very similar look to it. And what I think I'm going to use it for is just to style some bowl filler in. You know, somewhere like a bench is great to put my faux limes in there, or maybe somewhere like on a dining table or on open shelves when we eventually install them in the kitchen. I know a lot of you guys say that you want to display your limes in a really pretty way, but it's just not practical because we don't typically buy a ton of limes at a time, and then if we do, we don't use them all in time. So what I actually do is I will put all of my faux limes in the bowl, and then I'll just pop a couple of real ones on top. My faux limes do look very realistic, so it gives the illusion that all of them are real, and that way it's a fun way to display them, but I don't have to be wasteful about it. And I just feel like this beautiful brown color of the bowl is going to help to make my space look and feel very earthy, especially with this beautiful chipped detail around the edge. I love that you can see the terracotta peeking through, and that just gives it a really authentically aged feel, which gives it character and makes my space feel lived in and homey, which I love. So really good find on this one. Okay, so a lot of you guys know that I'm very into the blue and white theme. I just think it's super classic and it's a fun way to add color to a space in a timeless way. And to me, I just think blue and white, that combination is so charming. I have been looking for a perfect set of blue and white plates, and you guys, I found them on the 50% off day. I found these beautiful hand-painted plates for less than $1 a piece. I got them on the 50% off day, so they were selling a set of 4 for $6.50. So I got a set of 8 for $6.50, which is insane. I thought that these would be really beautiful to even display maybe on a wall with some little plate hangers, but then also I thought it's a perfect set of 8 and I want to have them for, you know, maybe appetizers or if I'm serving a smaller meal. I just think that these really go with the design of our home. And also they sell super similar ones at Pottery Barn for $17 a plate. They have like that same hand painted detail on them. They do say on the Pottery Barn website that those are hand painted as well, which I just think is so neat. Like, I love adding that handmade element into my decor. I just think that they're so beautiful and they have such a nice punch of personality, but they're still very classic and timeless at the same time. I'm just so grateful for the person who wanted to get rid of these because these are like such a treasure to me, and I'm so excited to have these in my space, especially that I got a pack of 8. Like, it's very rare to find even like a good pack of 4 at Goodwill, I feel like. So the fact that they were a set is awesome. Okay, so this next item is probably another one of the best steals out of everything. It was another 50% off day find. I really did well on this 50% off day, but it is this really beautiful ceramic plate with leather handles. And you guys, I got this for $2.50 and it was on the 50% off day, so it was $1.25 for this. And no joke, I've seen very similar plates on designer sites for over $300. Like, Is that not insane that I got this for $1.25? I love this so much. I love that it has a rustic glaze on the top, and then I like a mix of materials. So that's something that I look for when I am sourcing my pieces. I like to keep my materials in general very natural. So things that come from the earth, things like stone, leather, clay, linen, wood, things like that. And then when those natural elements are all combined in a piece, I think that's just really visually pleasing. So here we have clay from the ceramic, and then we also have the leather detail, and I just think that that looks so nice. And this is such a pretty piece that's really versatile. I can use this for serving in the kitchen, which is great because I can wash it since it's ceramic. I can also use this as a little catch-all tray in somewhere like a bathroom, maybe somewhere to put a candle and some toiletry items when we have guests over. It just helps it to look a little bit more put together. I love styling with trays just to make things feel a little bit more put together and organized. This would also look really nice on a nightstand, or maybe somewhere like a kitchen island, or even on a kitchen countertop for something like maybe a little tabletop lamp and a candle and a little recipe card box or something like that. I just loved the rustic look of it with the glaze and then the combination of those materials, especially for $1.25 when similar pieces go for hundreds of dollars online. Okay, so another piece that I was super excited to find was this beautiful tiled tray. I just thought that this was so unique and special. I will say this was a little bit pricey for me for the thrift store, but you know, when we just see something unique and special, sometimes it's just worth it. So I just figured, hey, I'll pay it because I love this so much and it would go so well in my space. It does have that like beautiful like Spanish Southwestern vibe, which I think is really fun. And it also has my blue and white reflected in here, which is really nice. So that will be a good way to kind of infuse it throughout the home in different pieces by having this. So I think I'm just gonna use this on our little temporary bar in our dining room. I think I'm gonna do a more in-depth styling video on that space, but I figured this would be cute just to pop a couple of glasses on and maybe like a little touch lamp and a shaker just for a little temporary bar situation until we can actually redo that space. But I love the pretty pattern on here and the detailing in the wood and just how unique this piece was. Okay, so now it's time to show a couple of my fashion finds, and this one was such a steal, you guys. This is probably one of my best thrifted fashion finds of all time, and it is this beautiful lacy Free People blouse. Free People. And I got this for $7.99. Now, I will say that I do think sometimes the fashion finds at Goodwill can be a little bit pricey, like a little bit overpriced. And like if this was not a Free People top, I do think like even $8 for this might be a little high. But the fact that this was a recent Free People shirt, like I've seen this out online for sale in the last couple of years, you know, like I thought about getting this one. And I thought this would be really beautiful paired with some high-waisted, wide-leg denim jeans, just for like that really kind of casual, comfortable look, but still put together and chic, you know what I mean? And for me personally, when I am thrifting tops, I like to stick to things that have more of a classic look to them. So colors like white, black, things that have lace on them, maybe a pretty button detail, and this has all of that. I love the button detail that this has along the back. I think that's really pretty. So the fact that I could find this for $8 was such a steal, and I'm really excited to wear this one. You'll probably see it in future videos because I just love this lacy detail on the neck and all of the pretty visual detail that that gives to an outfit. Okay, so next up, I found this really pretty acid wash shirt for $3.50, which that's a little bit more like in the ballpark where I get excited to find like thrifted fashion, you know, price-wise for $3.50. And this is actually a Jane and Delancey top, which that's a brand that they sell at like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And I actually saw this exact top in store like a month or two ago. It seems like it's in really good condition, and that's another thing that I look for when I am thrifting is, you know, that they have to be in good condition. That's mandatory. I don't care if it's a good brand or what, it has to be in good condition. So this seemed almost brand new, and it definitely has like a Free People look to it, and it's also very lightweight, which I appreciate because it can easily be tucked into jeans. And then it's great for here in Arizona because you guys know it gets very hot here, so I figured that this would be a perfect summer shirt that looks put together and dressed up, but it's still really comfortable and kind of casual at the same time. I like that this had kind of like that more more upscale, free people anthropology look to it, but I was able to get it for only $3.50. All right, everyone, that about wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this fun thrift with me and haul. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It's a free and easy way to support the channel, and also make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss future thrifting videos. Also, we have a lot of our kitchen renovation videos coming up, so you want to hit the notification bell so you're notified when those go live as well. Also, just wanted to say too that one of the biggest reasons that I started this channel was I wanted to show people that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a more expensive, styled, and curated look in your space. It's really about knowing what to curate and pairing items together and giving styling tips so you guys can do the same thing when you go to the thrift store, and you really don't have to spend a lot of money on designer things to get a designer look. So whether that be your decor or your clothing, I hope that you can see examples of that through this channel, and definitely leave me a comment below if you guys like seeing more of the fashion stuff, or if you just kind of want me to stick more to decor, or if you want to see more fashion stuff. Please let me know in the comments, because that kind of helps me decide what direction to go in future thrifting videos. But I just want to thank you all so much for being here and for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!